Welcome to part 2 of Forging a Kukri. Once again, this Kukri is going to be donated to a veteran nonprofit. They provide scuba diving for all veterans here in Boston, or around the Boston area. I'm a member of the organization myself. I enjoy scuba diving with them. It's very therapeutic. The organization is called the Tactical Reintegration Program, or TRP. If you search for them on Google or something, on any search engine, you'll be able to find some information on them. They're pretty cool. Feel free to donate. They're doing their fundraising push right now. And plus, if you reach out to them, you may be able to score a chance to bid on this fabulous, freaking ginormous Kukri that we're going to be designing and finishing forging for them. So now that we're moving forward, I put my safety glasses back on. There's a risk of things flying, and better be safe than sorry. Putting in the forge, there's really nothing flying around that can come out and hit me, so I should have been wearing them regardless since I was working. But the next step is actually going to be us getting ready to go from there to the press and do our first forge weld. So once it gets up to a critical temperature, which will take a few more minutes, we're going to go ahead and pull it off. I'm going to scrape the flux off, and then I'm going to put it in the press here and get a nice solid forge weld. There's always a risk when you're forge welding for welds to go bad, so you just want to make sure that you do all the fundamentals of preparing your metal to make sure that you get the best possibility of adhesion between the different layers. And even then, every once in a while you still have a bad weld, and it sometimes completely ruins a project. So it can be frustrating, but it's as they say, such is life. C'est la vie. So we're getting pretty close to the temperature we need. I'm going to check this forge again for temperature, just to see how close we're getting. Damn near there. 1500 was the front brick, so can't really pay attention to it. I apologize, I'm not really proficient with the camera equipment yet. One way to tell that your forge weld is at forge welding temperature without a thermometer like that is your flux will be bubbling and boiling on the surface of your billet. That's when you know it's time to take it out, scrape the flux off, and start your forge weld. So you can do it with hammers. Some people use power hammers. I use a press I built out of a log splitter. So I started out by doing Damascus by hand only. It's very time consuming. I was so glad when I finally built this press for myself. So we're gonna move on. The flux is boiling, so I'm gonna set up the camera, pull it out, and get our first press and under the press to get the forge weld set. So the press is extremely loud. It makes a very high-pitched whining noise. So what I normally do is I either time-lapse or do slow-mo for the presses. I'm gonna do a slow-mo this first one just so you guys can kind of see how it works and how it functions. what you saw me just do was the first and second or forge weld. I'll do another forge weld with flux at a very high temperature, just to make sure that the weld's secure. And then what I do afterwards is at welding heat, I continue pressing it for 3 or 4 more heats to ensure that the forge weld bond is nice and strong before I then start drawing it out, make it longer so that we can cut it, restack it, make more layers to make this thing look really, really pretty. So a very interesting thing happens when you forge weld and you heat up metal to a very high temperature is an oxidation that occurs. And what it does is it leaves you with this as leftovers, these chips. It also causes you to lose a certain percentage of the metal each time you heat it up. So when you have a lot of forge welding to do, like you're trying to make mosaic to Damascus or something, you lose up to 30% of the billet. So you need to take that into account beforehand. But I mean, this is thin stuff. I've seen it's pretty thick, and this is fine, so it'll crush up real easy. But it is magnetic, so it's easy to clean up at least. That's the end of Kukri Part 2. Thanks for watching. If you can, please like and subscribe. If not, please comment. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to see a certain type of style, give me suggestions for improvement. Criticism, as long as it's constructive, is appreciated. So we're going to move forward into the video Part 3, which is going to show us doing just trying to draw out the billet some more so that it can so we can make it longer. So far it's already long. In the third one we start running into issues with welds not sticking, and we're going to be battling that for a while in that video, and then ongoing from that. This billet may not even be any good. We'll have to wait and see.